A deal on Dickens, who could resist? A stack of Austen, warmly kissed. Golden Age crime tales twist and turn, every page a treasure to learn. Books keep coming home with me, piles so tall they're all I see. Turn a page and sail the sea, reading always feels so free.
Hi, my name is Talia. Welcome to Talia Nerds Out. If I am a little flushed, it's just because I finished just a couple seconds ago the Beefcake book tag, and those books were heavy. And yes, I think I've lost quite a bit of the strength that I had when I used to pull patients up. That has been quite a few years. So, don't have that same strength level. And those books are heavy, and you can see that if you check out the Beefcake book tag. But I will probably have a number of birthday book haul videos because a few of my birthday books are still coming in from gift cards. And then because of the number of points I already had accumulated for thrift books, I also ended up having free books come up because they give you, when you're at a certain level, you get free book credit for your birthday. Plus, there was Martin Luther King Day where you got like double points or 30 extra points or something like that. So I ended up getting more free books than I realized I would be getting on top of my birthday stuff. But these are a few of the birthday books that have already arrived. Now, I am going to reach over to my pile of books over here because I just remembered I have a couple of my birthday books here. And I do want to show a couple of them before returning them to their ginormous pile. So this one here, I guess normally I separate this into categories, but I'm just going to do this video all in one go. The first one here is the Brothers Karamazov, or actually this translation has it as the Karamazov Brothers, for the Oxford World's Classic. This, I wanted this anyway, but I am going to be taking part in, I forget whose channel is doing it. I'll try to remember to put the details into the description, but they did last year Ulysses, so they call themselves the Ulysses 6. So last year they did Ulysses. This year one of the read-alongs that they're doing is Karamazov Brothers, and they are doing it for February and March. I wanted to read this anyway. I thought I'd be starting with Crime and Punishment for Dostoevsky, but I guess I'm starting with the Karamazov Brothers. And this is one of my big books for the Beefcake book tag that I mentioned. And this one, if you include the explanatory notes, which I do because I read the explanatory notes, it's 1012 pages. So, nice big old book. Then this one is, and I think someone else mentioned, I want to say Gavin maybe, mentioned that Jack London had a birthday recently. And this has Call of the Wild, White Fang, and other stories. And for some reason, maybe it's because I haven't read either of those books, either White Fang or Call of the Wild, since I was a kid. But I hadn't realized for some reason they were novellas or short stories. Even though I remember my mom's big old Jack London collection, I just, for some reason, thought that they were full-on books. But I have childhood memories of reading Jack London. I just haven't read him in a very long time. Then I also have here Robert Louis Stevenson, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And for some reason, I didn't connect him with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but also with Treasure Island and Kidnapped. I don't know why I didn't connect those three novels together. I guess because they just, well, this is a novella, but they just have very different feels to them. Like, yeah, Kidnapped and Treasure Island, yeah. I see those two having similarities. But then you have Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which is, you know, very gothic-y, in my opinion. And then I didn't know about his other stories here, which must be short stories. Then, continuing in the classic realm, I've got here... Okay, I was reading some information about Cervantes. Oh, no, I was watching a video about Cervantes. It was a commentary video, and I can't remember which channel it was. But anyway, he was talking about Cervantes and about the influence that Don Quixote had on the development of the novel. But then he mentioned that actually the book that doesn't get nearly as much credit, although it's apparently considered just as good as Don Quixote, and also Cervantes apparently considered it like his masterpiece before he died. It was his final book, The Trials of Persiles and Sigismunda. And the way I heard it described is where you might see that Don Quixote was written out of his disillusionment with the idea of chivalry, having tried to live a chivalric life himself and having suffered as a prisoner of war. But that it was almost like from what I gather, this was almost like a regaining of those ideals again. That's the way I've heard it described. So I'm interested in reading this one. It's much shorter than Don Quixote. But the idea that Cervantes himself considered it one of his greatest works, and that the idea that a mindset change had occurred. Like I said, there was this idea that with Don Quixote that he had become embittered, and with the idea of chivalry and where it had led his own life. But then towards the end of his life, almost like he came to terms with that. It's very interesting. Then, any other classics in here? Oh yes, here's a couple. Making sure I have all the classics at once. Okay. This one I actually got on sale, and I was like, well, why not? It's on sale, probably because it was like right around Christmas. This is Letters from Father Christmas, Tolkien's. He would write these for his kids. And what's kind of fun about this, because I read this at Kindle at one point, you really don't get the same feel on Kindle, especially if you have a paperweight the way I do, because the pictures are part of the fun. Tolkien did his own artwork for it because he wrote these for his kids. And so you have some of his own writing there. And they'll show, like, on one side, like, what the envelope would look like. Where he would mess around with different handwriting. But they also show you the typed version, so you're not just trying to read his handwriting. Also the artwork that he would do. So it's just a fun kind of thing to read. Oh, I have a ribbon. I always love it when I have a book with a ribbon, even though I always end up making the ribbon fray. And as I recall, the stories got more and more detailed, like as the lore built, because of course it's Tolkien that we're talking about. So, yeah, it's going to be much more interesting looking at it in a physical form, where I feel like I missed a lot of the effect. Sorry, there's like, I'm not sure if I have a hair like floating right in front of my glasses, but it's driving me insane. But I felt like I didn't get the full effect that I could have reading it on Kindle. And this is just a kind of like fun, whimsical read around Christmas where you could just go, oh yeah, a little bit here and there. And like I said, I got it really cheap because it was on sale. Then, so that wasn't some of these are like Christmas / birthday, because maybe my Christmas ones hadn't all come in yet, and then some of these were for birthday. Now this one might have actually been, this one I think was from my Christmas gift card. that hadn't come in from the last book haul video, by the last book haul video. And I don't have with me the other one of hers that I picked up around the same time. This is Anne Catherine Green, who is considered the mother of the detective novel. And I mentioned that, I think, in a previous book haul video, when I talked about the Leavenworth case, maybe. But this one is, I want to say it's like the third one. It might not be. I read the second one that she wrote, but because it's in my to do a book review on area, I don't have it here to show. But this one here is That Affair Next Door. So it's whatever number it is. I want to say this is the third one, but it might not be. I grabbed the ones that were, you know. This one might have been one of my free ones, which means it would have had to been $7 or less. So that might have been why this one got picked over some of the other ones. But I want to go through and read her books anyway. And some of them can be found on Kindle, but others you can't find on Kindle, as far as I can tell. So I've just been snagging hers, particularly if I can get them as free books, you know, from free book credit. Then I have here, now this one is special. I was looking for cheap prices on Anne Catherine Green, and I went to eBay, and then this one came up, and it's The Millionaire Baby. It's an Anna Catherine Green, and I'm not sure what number it is when you like list all her different books, but this one was marked as being a first edition. Have to be careful with the pages, but it is 1905. And it's actually in pretty good shape if it is actually the first edition that I was given the impression that it might have been. Now, some of the type, like the pages are, and I'll show you actually the cover. It's a readable copy, but it definitely has some wear and tear. Because it is a hardcover, it will be easier to fix. But like you can see here where it's kind of tender there. But it does have some art. There. And it says copyright 1905 in January. And look at the margins, the huge margins. Every once in a while, let's see, is this the one? No, that was a Dickens book that had that. But yeah, there's points where I feel like I have to be a little careful with the page, but honestly, it's in really good shape. And guys, I got it for $9. I think it cost like maybe, no, it was no shipping. So anything I got over that was like tax. So like $9, no shipping for this kind of shape that it's in, especially being such an old book. I was over the moon. I wouldn't have minded spending, $9 on a, version that was not this old, that was in good shape. So to get one this old in good shape was so nice. So this will be one of my treasures. I think this might be the oldest book I own. So this one will be kept where I can keep a very good eye on it and make sure that it's, temperature and a good, it's not like near too warmer to area of the room or whatever. Then going to my literary study type ones. Well, first of all, I showed this in my beefcake challenge one, but this was from some birthday money that my grandparents gave me. So it covered my Dostoevsky biography, which I really wanted, but I couldn't justify without birthday money because it has not come down really in price where then you can't really get it used for like a good price. I actually got it for a better price new because it was on sale. But even that, I wouldn't have been able to justify without birthday money. It's Princeton Press book, and this is the abridged version because, as it says here, Frank's monumental 2,500-page work has been skillfully abridged and condensed into a single, highly readable volume. And you cannot find, like, I couldn't find the unabridged version. I tried. So I will be reading this version, which apparently is absolutely excellent. Dostoevsky sounded like he had an interesting life, and I look forward to learning more about him. This is one of the books that I aim to finish this year. Hopefully. Then I have The Study. This was another birthday gift. The Inner Life of Renaissance Libraries by Andrew Hu. And so that just sounds fascinating. I don't know that. Oh, it does have some pictures. Yay. So some pictures. And I'm not quite sure why there is like an owl and like a bobcat and all these like terrifying animals around the sleeping person. But yeah, there's nice. All of it's black and white in the way it paints, and I know not all these were black and white because I recognize a couple of these enunciate. Like this one is, and yeah, I feel like I recognize that enunciation picture, and I feel like I recognize that one, and they were not black and white. So that they have chosen to do the pictures black and white, which is a shame. Like with this Studiolo of Francesco I. Like, that would have been really nice to actually have that in color, but I'm glad there's at least pictures. It would have been more disappointing if there were no pictures than if there are pictures, but they just happen to be black and white. That's the way I choose to look at it anyway. Although I still haven't... Sorry, I have like this one hair that's driving me insane. I still haven't forgiven my book on the Bayeux Tapestry for having only black and white pictures. That one I felt like was egregious. But then this one, another birthday gift, a book by Juliet Wells called Reading Austen in America. And it sets the standards for Austen studies for coming decades as we begin to reckon Austen's influence and legacy outside of Britain. Now, she has two books that I'm not sure if they are the same book by different titles, but they both have to do with America and Austen. If they are, in fact, different books, I'll be wanting to get that other one at some point, too. But I look forward to this one. And I've mentioned many times how much I love literary commentaries and things like that. This one, I should do this for Victober one year. The Mysterious Case of the Victorian Female Detective by Sarah Lodge. And it says that this fascinating and eye-opening account of fictional and real-life female detectives and their sleuthing activities. So, I'm not sure how many are fictional, how many are nonfiction, but I look forward to reading these. Oh, I love already. Look at that art. Look at that art. Talk about Victorian age. That's great. Yeah, here we go. I just love, like, the older... Oh, it smells like old books, guys. The Adventures of Dora Bell, Detective. Okay, this will be fun. I'll have to maybe make an effort to put this in October. I didn't have it planned, but I might have to make an effort. This one, I blame on someone in the Historathon Discord. I can't remember who you are who mentioned this, but it's your fault. Doctors and Diseases in the Roman Empire by Ralph Jackson. That's just very much up my alley. I have different books from different points of view about medicine in antiquity. Last year I read an overview that didn't just hit antiquity, but hit medicine and religion together from antiquity to modern age, which is awesome. So I didn't read a different book on antiquity and medicine at that point. I think thus far I'm taking a break from medicine and antiquity this year, but I'll probably restart with one of my books next year. then this one was something that was recommended to me by, I'm reading with somebody, the Punic Wars, starting in February, and it came up in passing that his wife and I like similar books, and he mentioned that he got this for her for Christmas. It sounded good. It had been one that had gotten, the thumbs up by Fulton Sheen. And so my mom and I both ended up getting this. Not sure when I will start reading this, but it's considered a spiritual classic. And contains meditations on the humanity of Mary, Mother of God, by British Catholic writer and artist Carol Houselander. Oh, is there art in here? Oh, that's mean to say that she's an artist and then not give me art. That's cruel. That's cruel and unusual. Okay. That's unforgivable. Okay. And then finally, this is a book I've had up for a while on Kindle, but I found that I don't tend to last very long on Kindle if it's a meditation book. So I've had this one on Kindle for several years, never finished it. Got about partway through. I ended up finding approximately where I am and marking where I am so I could just start off where I left off. But this is, sorry, can't quite place the smell. Okay, but anyway, this is Peace in the Storm, Meditations on Chronic Pain and Illness by Maureen Pratt. And most of her books either focus on pain or things like that. And they have to do with meditations to deal with that. My mom has a couple of her ones, or she has at least one of hers to deal with pain, with not necessarily quite as a chronic focus. Although I think my mom, now that her pain has become more chronic, will probably check this one out as well. I picked this up, gosh, like I said, a while ago. And it deals with things like accepting your diagnosis, loneliness, when the you knew seems to disappear, finding the right doctor, prayer for doctors, where is God, finding meaning in a life of illness, acquiring courage, all right to cry, answered prayers, struggling with weight gain, waiting for treatment medication to work, the sting of unkind remarks, when you can't get out of bed, seeing God in the ordinary, hidden gifts, managing expectations, letting go of denial, grass is greener, lesson from Job, moving slowly in a fast-paced world, changing your attitude towards your life. So a bunch of things that, if you've been chronically ill, these are things that not all of the different sections are going to necessarily apply for your situation, but at some point during your journey with chronic illness, a lot of these will strike a chord. And the way she sets them up is she'll have a little section where she talks about, the little meditation that she would have put together. And sometimes they'll have a personal experience that she has. I believe she has lupus. She might have something else as well. But she'll have like your title. Let's go ahead. A bad reaction to medication. So she'll have her title, and then she'll have the Bible verse and say what translation the Bible it came from. And it sounds like she's trying to pull from different. Did you all know New American Bible? Okay, maybe she did do all New American Bible. Oh no, she did different ones, because here's New International Version. So she went with different translations at different points. Maybe if she liked the sound of a translation better, I don't know why she might have chosen different ones for different points, regardless. So she'll have her Bible verse, she'll have her meditation that she would put together, and then at the end she'll have a short prayer. And let's see. Yeah, short prayer. Okay, this is actually one of the shorter sections that she has. So it's set up to be short for people who don't necessarily have the bandwidth to do longer chapters, but it also makes sure to keep a biblical focus along with having the personal stories and the meditation and prayer aspect. So it's a little bit of everything. It's a book that I had intended to continue. Sorry, my mouth is getting dry. It was a book that I had intended to continue with, but because it was in Kindle form, I just sort of fell behind. And I'm just going to I'm going to start where I left off. And then in the future, I'll just pick up whatever section is just hitting where I need at that moment. Some of these definitely hit harder during different periods of my journey with chronic illness. But yeah, if you are looking for something more spiritual while you're dealing with a chronic illness, this could be something that you might find to be comforting. Comforting, sometimes even if it kind of brings a point to something that's bothering you and can maybe initially bring you to tears, at least it might bring you to a point of either acceptance or kind of working through some of the emotions and the thought processes maybe you just haven't been able to completely absorb yet, because there's a lot, particularly if you have something that's more rare, which was what my experience was, that all mine conditions are classified technically as rare conditions. So especially if I'm also want to get checked out for narcolepsy, because I have some certain symptoms that point strongly in that direction, which would be then adding another rare condition to my repertoire of rare medical conditions. But when you have something that your doctors might not have heard of or might not have seen, some of these things the toll of this journey can take on, can be particularly challenging, because if they're having trouble finding things so they don't know what they're looking for, you can have people who either don't believe you or who want to tell you, oh, you're just being anxious, or are you sure it's not anxiety? Maybe you're anxious and you just don't know it, which is something I was actually told. And yeah, so it's just there's a lot of self-doubt that occur early on in the journey, and then just getting used to the new normal. And a book like this, particularly when you're in those early stages, honestly, you will cycle through some of these stages later on as the face of your chronic illness journey looks different, as the different challenges change, either as you progress or as, you might be settling into normal, but maybe because you aren't as much in pain as maybe you were at a different point in your journey, now different things are coming to the forefront, and now you have to deal with those things because you didn't have the bandwidth before to deal with them. So for that, a book like this is beneficial. But I've gone a little bit long about this one. This is not a book I've finished yet, and I will do perhaps more review on it when I actually do finish it. But that is my book haul until my books that came from like gift cards and things like that, until they start coming in. That's it for my birthday / remainder of the Christmas book haul. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I will see you the next time. God bless. Bye.
Books keep coming home with me, piles so tall they're all I see. Turn a page and sail the sea. Reading always feels so free.